What's up, guys? It's me. You're not used to seeing me out here, you know, on the main camera. I'm usually back over at the side camera, but tonight Brandon and Pat are gone. They kind of like didn't like you guys and were, nah, I don't want any part of this anymore. All of our viewers are bad. I don't like them. I'm totally kidding, guys. I'm totally kidding. Pat had his son's baseball game. Totally respect him going to that. And Brandon had to do some radio and repeater stuff. So that leaves me and actually a special guest. You probably know this kid from, you know, the store. If you've ever come in on the weekend, he is part of, you know, my crew. So, you know, if you want to come out, Brian. Everybody, Brian. Brian has worked with us for 4 years, 3 years, 3 years. I remember him when he was like this much shorter, but we love Brian.
It was the hair.
It was the hair.
The hair got taller. I stayed the same.
It's cute. I like it. What do you put in your hair?
Nothing.
You don't put anything in your hair?
Love.
Love. Lots of. What kind of love? We won't talk about that on stream. So yeah, tonight we have a pretty cool stream. Just I'm looking at all of these awesome guns. If you saw my Facebook post earlier, we talked about you know, we're going to dissect some cool firearms. Something movies and Call of Duty and none of the video games go into. It's one thing to actually watch John Wick fire these guns, or it's another thing to fire these guns in Call of Duty. But what does it really take to, you know, strip these guys, clean these guys, oil these guys, and all of the parts involved? We're definitely gonna delve into that. I have, you know, a giveaway we're doing. I just want to check in on something real quick.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, keep them occupied, Ryan.
I'm trying, but I mean, these are.
What do you got in your hands?
I have a MP5. This is pretty much the standard variant, although it does have the collapsible stock and a very nice and handy sling, which keeps it nice and tight to
Cool.
the body.
It's hard to like balance production. It's hard to balance like, you know, being on main camera. I'm actually gonna go back there in a little bit, but before we do that, I want to totally talk about giveaways. So tonight I'm giving away one Mossberg hat to somebody, some cool stickers. So that's gonna be one of the first things I give away. Another one of the things I'm gonna give away is this Surefire Light. We've already given one of these away, but I'm gonna say, oh, I do. I carry one of these every day. I'm happy I have one. These things are awesome. You don't carry a Surefire, do you?
I don't.
You should start carrying a Surefire. Did you know 80% of violent crime happens at night, Brian? Surefire.
I had heard something like that.
Yeah, whatever. So how we're gonna win these, as always, I want to remember your names. Every time we do these live streams, you guys just absolutely trash our comment section, which I love. Please keep pooping all over it. If I remember your name, if you're being very active, you're asking great questions, I will remember you. And if I remember you, I will call you out. So that is how we specifically, you know, win these. I usually always throw in like a little bonus for a third party that does it, but I don't like to talk about that on camera too much. What next? Do you have anything you want to talk to anybody about?
Not necessarily. I'd
Not
say
necessarily.
let's just start showing off some guns.
I do want to show some guns, but I also have some announcements to make. I think we should wait on those. What gun do you want to start off with, Brian?
Well, I would say the one I'm wearing. I'm fairly familiar with it. The good old MP5.
The MP5.
One of our favorite rental guns here at the store when 9mm isn't worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, 9mm is disgustingly hard to get. What's so cool about this guy?
Well, one of the cool things about this guy here is that it is fully automatic and rentable here at the store for $100. Civilians owning machine guns isn't typically something you encounter.
Very scary.
I mean,
suppressors as well.
suppressors as well.
I have to go pull one out of the back. We should take apart one of those as well later.
We should. They're very cool looking inside a suppressor because you always see in movies just like, oh yeah, let's stick this tube on the end of the barrel. It'll make it quiet.
But what makes it quiet? You know?
What wizardry happens inside that cool tube?
Absolutely.
And why do they cost $1,000 plus a $200 tax stamp?
Per item. This guy has a $200 tax stamp as well.
It sure does.
Not many people actually understand that because we live in the communist state of New York.
This is true.
So every time you buy an NFA item, National Firearms Act, what happens is you have to buy the item. So say a suppressor or an MP5. What is the selling rate for an MP5? Like $5,000 maybe?
Closer to 6.
6, 7 for full auto. Like
Yes.
So you're dropping 6, 7, 5, 6 on a full auto MP5.
Now the thing is, if you can find a pre-ban, as in a firearm that was manufactured before the Hughes Amendment of
I think that-
1986, the going rate on these is closer to 30 to 40 grand.
Yikes.
Because then you don't need a Class 3 SOT to own
Yes.
it. You can own it as a regular civilian. However, because there are such a limited number of examples, they are very expensive. It's pretty much like buying 9mm right now.
Or a house.
Or a
It's
house.
a down payment on a house.
It really is.
So you have to actually pay a tax stamp on top of that. The government wants $200 per suppressor, per full auto. Same thing applies with, is it your 04 explosives?
I think so.
Is that the 04? Every time you make, like if you were to make grenades, somebody has to make grenades and explosives. That's how stuff works. Every time you make one, you have to pay $400 to the government as a tax stamp for that. So everybody that says they want to shoot an RPG in our indoor range, the ammunition would be really expensive. Whatever it costs to shoot the RPG plus a $400 tax stamp.
Plus the cost of rebuilding the range.
Absolutely. You've seen that video? That's surfaced the web. Everybody's
Yes.
seen that video of the dude shooting an RPG indoors. I'm an idiot.
I really hope that's fake. Although it seems too well done to be fake. You know someone's dumb enough to have actually done that.
For sure. And like, you working the weekend, we've seen everything. Nothing
have.
surprises me.
There is nothing that stupidity can't do. Trust me.
That could be a whole live stream itself. Just dumb things.
Dumb things we've seen on the weekends.
I love it.
Don't get me wrong. The customers that come in on the weekends can be some of the nicest people.
Oh, I
you'll
love
ever
our
meet.
customers.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
I have a few coming to mind right now. I don't like naming names.
Yeah, especially on the internet. It's,
It's weird naming
don't want to
names
leak
on the internet.
information.
Exactly. I'm not trying to dox any of our customers. Let that be known.
Let's get into this. I'm gonna hop off to the production side. Yeah, have fun.
All right, cool. And one other thing that I wanted to mention about that $200 tax stamp, when the NFA was originally introduced back in the first half of the 20th century, $200 has been the same price for the tax stamp the whole time the NFA's been around. And that $200 tax stamp was, pretty much the cost of like 4 machine guns at that time, where, it was incredibly price prohibitive to pay that tax stamp. It was very much a deterrent, not a, all right, cool, just give us money and we'll give it to you kind of thing.
Government needs their cut.
The government needs their cut. Never forget that.
I will be right back. I need to grab my pencil. I'm gonna switch to this guy. So you are on the top view, Brian, and remember we have that picture in the bottom right of your face. I'm gonna quickly go in the back and grab my little notepad where I took some information.
Alrighty. So, we're going to get some gloves on because guns are dirty. That's just kind of one of the nice side effects is whenever you shoot a gun, it gets very dirty. Although, some guns stay cleaner than others. That's one of the things that we're going to get into looking at the different cool guns that we have here. Some operating systems are inherently cleaner functioning than other operating systems. For example, this MP5 here uses what is called a roller delayed blowback, which is one of the dirtiest operating systems you can get. Second only to direct blowback, where it just spits everything right where it eats. So, let's start with some field stripping. Obviously, first step is make sure that the gun is unloaded. So I'm looking in there, getting my finger in there to make sure there's no rounds in the chamber. We'll drop our magazine one more time. Let's make sure that there's nothing in the chamber. And we will close the action with our nice little HK charging handle on the top. A lot of people will like to slap these closed. You'll hear a lot of people with conflicting opinions whether or not that hurts the guns. One thing that I have found is if you are a prominent member of the social media gun community and you are seen gently lowering the HK charging handle, HK's social media will find you and they will mock you for being weak with their gun. They have literally instructed to slap it down. It doesn't hurt the gun. So we will close that and we will start with one of our little push pins in the back. The HK push pins are really nice. Super easy to take out. Just takes a little bit of force. We'll put that there so we don't forget where it is. And now we're just going to work our stock off. The nice thing about these is this is the part that retracts. This houses everything. So if you wanted to, you could actually upgrade this with a fixed stock that's permanently out here like this. It has a nice, slope here so that you can get a good cheek weld with it, because this little bit right here is not all that comfortable to put your face down on. So we're going to put that up there. We don't need it. Now we're going to hinge open basically our pistol grip and our trigger mechanism. We got another handy dandy HK push pin right here. We'll pop that out, place that over with its friend. And here we have the really cool part. This is what makes this gun here a machine gun. Obviously there's subtle things inside the bolt and all that make it fully automatic, but these pieces in here that you see moving around that I'm pressing on with my hands, these are serialized parts. You can actually see an XX on that hammer and on this bit here. This hammer is specifically set up with 2 notches, and this disconnector is not on semi-automatic variants. Well, most semi-automatic variants. When you press on this, you'll notice that the hammer just popped into a secondary notch. If I were to pull the trigger now, the hammer would fall like normal. And if I were to hold the trigger down, press the hammer back, and then press on that disconnector again, it'll reset to that position. Now if I let my finger out, pull the trigger again, it functions just like your average semi-automatic. Now, if I set this to full auto, as indicated by the never-ending stream of little red bullets, pull the trigger, reset it. Now I have to do this very carefully, because as I press down on this disconnector, it allows the hammer to come forward. I might have messed that up. I did.
This is always the worst. Doing this in front of customers.
It is. It's very tricky. Yeah. It's also under a lot of spring tension. The Germans really know how to over-engineer something, I'll tell you that much. But it's a good working example. This little disconnector right here, on full auto, when you're holding the trigger down far enough, will allow the hammer to simply fall all the way home, just like that. And then when you reset, it does it again until you let go of the trigger. So we'll put that on safe just so we're not messing with this. The hammer doesn't slam forward and impact the front here, because this is a very expensive part of the gun and I don't want to be held accountable for it. So I'm going to put that over there, and we're going to take out the other really cool part of this gun. This is your mainspring. Nothing too special about this. It's just a spring on a rod, captive at both ends. That way it doesn't go flying anywhere. Likes to grab rubber gloves, tear them open. I have a lot of experiences with this thing. Very interesting experiences. So now looking at our bolt, this is the part that I was referring to, the roller delayed blowback. So if we look on this bolt, you'll notice that it's nice and flush, straight right angle sides. If I press in on this, 2 little bearings pop out the side of the bolt. And these lock into semicircular cutouts inside the receiver. So if we can imagine, this thing isn't going to stay up on its own, but if we can imagine this is in the gun, it's pressed up against the barrel. When the gun shoots, if it were to just fly back immediately as soon as you fire, you would probably have your brass case explode and therefore blow up your gun. Not exactly a fun happening of events. So we don't want that to happen. We want to lock this breech up for as long as we can to allow pressure in the barrel to drop before it opens up, pulls the case out, spits it out, and then loads a new one in. Once the pressure is nice and low, it's not going to be as likely to explode when you take it out. So these little guys locking into that recess won't allow it to press back as long as these are locked into their semicircular cuts. Now, if I take this apart, you can see that there is a little angled piece right here. This is our locking shoulder. I think it's called a locking shoulder. And when that goes in, it presses out on our rollers, right? So when I take this out, the rollers can be pressed in. When I push this in, the rollers will come out. Now, if I don't touch this and press in on those rollers, see how that pushes out the locking collar just a little bit? That is basically what the gun is doing every time it shoots. There's a ton of pressure pushing back on the bolt face right here. And that pressure is transferred through these rollers into these sloped cuts. And that, in turn, pushes this whole system back, pulling the case out with it. And that's kind of a crash course on how to use or not necessarily how to use, but how a roller delayed system works. It's very different from a roller locking system. I'm not exactly 100% on how a roller locking system works, but a roller delayed has sloped cuts, so that way it's acting like a lever as it presses this back. In a roller locking, you wouldn't be able to press this in and push this back, from what I understand. So that's kind of a rough idea of how a MP5 functions. Ty, do you have anything you want to say about it?
About the MP5, are you reassembling?
I was going to reassemble it.
Okay, so as we're reassembling, let's chat. So let's talk a little bit more about NFA and stuff. So
Sure.
68, right? Was
1968 was the Hughes Amendment.
Yeah. So that essentially made all that was like the full auto ban, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah.
1968, from that day on, new machine guns for the public could not be manufactured.
For sure. So anything pre-68 was kind of, they just had like an amnesty, they called it, and
Exactly. If you had a machine gun that was made before 1968, you could register it with the NFA, and that is what's referred to as a transferable machine gun.
that's what makes them pricey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's that very small collection of a couple, maybe a couple hundred, maybe a couple tens of thousands of machine guns that were registered shortly after that 1968 Hughes Amendment ban.
And a question we got was, do you need an FFL to have your Class 3 SOT? And the answer is actually no. You don't, right? No. Okay. It's not illegal to own machine guns in free states like Kentucky. You can just own them, or Texas. You can just own them as long as they're really expensive to buy. You buy them and you pay your tax stamp to the government. You get their blessing. You can just own it. And really strict states like New York, they really don't just give that out. You kind of have to have your Class 3 SOT, and you have to have like a brick and mortar gun store. I know of one guy that has ever had a Class 3 SOT. He had his own FFL, but he really didn't do much with it. He just liked to have machine guns.
He did.
That is very, very hard to do. He had a lot of nudge with law enforcement, and I think that kind of helped him with it. But
And a ton of money.
yeah.
So it smooths that process over.
100%. So we can own it because we have the proper licensing. We've actually we've actually armed some of the local like municipal police departments around here with machine guns and stuff. We've swapped all of that stuff.
Should I say where this is from?
Just to be safe, I wouldn't. It's a local city police state or police agency.
Police state.
Police. We are in a police state. Let's be
Kind
real.
of. Yeah.
Freud slip, kind of.
Oops.
So yeah, owning machine guns totally legal. You just have to pay the government their cut, or not live in a communist state such as New York.
Did you know that when that 1968 went through, a lot of people actually registered drop-in auto sears for AR-15s? One little tiny piece of metal that might weigh an ounce is worth 20 grand on the market.
Stupid.
But you drop that into any AR-15 and that makes it a full auto, because that small 1 ounce piece of metal is the registered machine gun.
For sure.
It can go in any lower. They're incredibly neat, but very hard to get a hold of, and you better have a lot of cash handy.
100%.
Do you want a new car, or do you want a little bit that makes your AR go burr?
Get both.
There you
Money is no object.
go. Do you think you could pay for cash for the car and then use the car loan to pay off the auto sear?
I think your bank would have a problem with that.
I mean, if the car and the auto sear cost the same.
I mean, you could probably get a car with an auto sear. So, so if you guys ever want to shoot full auto, which I really, really recommend you do, come in and try this. I think every American should try a full
Every
auto.
American should rip a 30-round mag of MP5
For sure.
downrange at least once in their life.
Another question I got that I really liked, what is the difference between a pistol and SBR? I'm actually going to grab the 1911 rifle we have to
Sure.
illustrate that pretty easily. So anytime you come into the store, and people always check out our rentals and they go, oh, what's that? And they see this guy. Let me check frame real quick. Yeah. So one of the first things I always tell people is do not call this a pistol. This is a rifle. You call this a pistol, ATF helicopters will come through and they will appoint us a dog. So this is a pistol. This is a rifle because
you said it.
yeah, I said it. Oh shit. This is
I hear those black helicopters.
this is a rifle. A, because it has a stock, and B, because it has such a long barrel.
Just about 16 inches.
Yeah, that is actually the legal requirement. So ATF guidelines, the ATF, the federal government, that is not state, that is federal. The ATF says
On the money.
On the money. I mean, they're going to make it as small as possible. Come on.
Exactly.
They have all these guidelines on what's legal and what's not. So if you have a pistol with a stock, if you get rid of this and you had that, they would consider that an SBR. Another kind of stupid clause, I don't have my example handy, pistol brace. So
I could grab one out of the back.
it's fine.
Okay.
Where'd the MP5 go?
MP5's right there.
So this guy right here, this is different. This is, can you even use this as an example?
Kind of.
So you would need a pistol brace. This has a stock. This is hard because it's already a submachine gun. It's a rifle kind of.
I can probably explain. So H&K very recently, if you're in the, you're keeping up to date with all of the latest gun releases, HK released the SPO-1, which we've been asking for years. It's basically an MP5, but it doesn't have this. And it doesn't do that. It only does that.
So it's a semi.
So it's a semi-auto. It doesn't have a stock. The barrel is less than 15 inches, or 16 inches. It's a pistol. Now, a lot of people immediately afterwards, as soon as this was announced, another company came out, SB Tactical, and they released a part for the gun that attaches, just like I showed here. You just pop this little pin out, slap a new one on, and it looks almost exactly like this. The only difference is that it does not have a stock on the end here. Instead, it has a pistol brace, as it's called. It's a piece of rubber that will clamp around your arm with some Velcro to strap it to your arm so you can shoot it more stably with one hand. But for the sake of aesthetics, looks a lot like a stock. It's just not actually a stock. Yeah, pistol braces are a neat little niche gray area. There was a period of time when the ATF suddenly reclassified them as stocks, threatened to arrest everyone that had them, and then decided, no, they're not stocks. Tyler has a good example here.
The
This is an-
MPX. Let's just swap this.
Yeah. So the MPX is a very similar rifle, not rifle. It's a very similar platform to the MP5. It was designed more or less to replace it. And I would say the rear of the weapon system here is very similar in appearance and function to the MP5 in that you
Stand
can,
up straight up.
there you go. You can actually see that this also has the rails in the back here.
So this is a pistol brace. That's essentially what makes this a pistol. The ATF doesn't classify this as a stock, therefore having less than 16 inches makes it a pistol.
And as I explained, this little bit of rubber would open up, allow you to put your arms through. I can demonstrate that here because I have thin arms. I'll admit that.
But no.
So your arm would go through this little stretched out stock, not stock, brace.
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 Dude,
Careful.
we're gonna Ruby Ridge.
And then that will stabilize the gun for you. And admittedly, it does make it easier to hold. I don't even have to have any pressure on the gun with my hand here. Just kind of Velcros to my arm. But yeah, it makes one-handed shooting, I would say, more convenient. Wink, wink. Definitely doesn't make you more accurate, though. I will tell you that much. There was a period of time where the ATF would consider this making a short-barreled rifle. You were supposed to either shoot this,
kosher.
not kosher, like, you know what? Reclassifying a weapon based on whether or not part of it is touching a specific part of your body is not really that smart of an idea, nor is it all that enforceable. So we're just gonna say, to heck with it.
Do it.
Do whatever you want. So now people are rocking these short little pistols with pistol braces on them, makes them nice and compact. Honestly, this little guy here is a fantastic home defense weapon.
I have
However,
one. I love it.
Oh yeah. Well, you have the slightly longer
I have the
variant.
8.5 inch.
The 8.5 inch. It's a very aesthetically pleasing weapon system. The only downside to using this for home defense right now is one, where will you find it? Two, how will you feed it?
My baby's hungry.
It is hungry. All of my babies are hungry.
That is one of my favorite things I like whenever I train with Pat and stuff. I'm usually rocking my MPX, but I have no ammo. I have ammo for it, but I don't want to dig into my ammo reserves for it.
Yeah, that's
so it
like
makes it hard.
once the zombie apocalypse kicks off, I need at least this much ammo. Yeah.
There was a couple questions that came in. Oiling questions on a full auto.
Oiling questions on a full auto.
How much extra oil does a full auto require?
Lubricate it as the manual indicates. I mean,
Such
it's as simple as.
Such a John answer. I love it.
I know it's a John answer, but I mean that's also the right answer, as
It's
John
true.
would say.
That is the right answer.
The right answer is, what does the manual say?
Which is true.
It is true. However, I would say you don't need to maintain a full auto more frequently as per like round count goes. You should maintain it at the same interval. However, because you're running it full auto, you're going to get to those service intervals more quickly.
Way quicker.
Yeah, I would say it's more akin to like, you're supposed to change the oil on your car
thinking
every
that. Yeah.
3,000 miles, right? If you commute 2 miles every day because you live right next to your work, right?
Yeah.
You're never going to get to that 3,000 mile service interval. However, if you're like me and you commute 20 minutes to work every now and again, and then, well, every day, one way, and then you decide to also travel 40 minutes one way every day to Rochester as well, once you get out of work, You reach that service interval a lot quickly. I
Yeah.
pay so much money on oil for my car. You wouldn't
And
you'd be
guns.
amazed. I do, yeah.
Oil, man. The oil company has us.
They really
guns,
do.
cars.
You would think that that the gun companies and the ammo companies have us, but no, it's the oil companies. Big oil.
Another question that came through was about drop-in trigger systems like that.
Drop-in trigger systems.
I assume they're meaning like the Echo trigger and stuff. The legalities on that.
So, as far as I know, in New York State, echo triggers are not legal, just because Cuomo doesn't like us having fun.
Yeah.
That's the main reason.
It's probably safe to assume they're not.
Yeah. Okay, here's a simple flow chart for if something is legal in New York. Is it fun? Yes. Probably not legal. No. It's probably fine.
All guns are.
But you should reconsider. I would say that's a fairly simple flow chart, easy to follow. In other states, though, if you don't live in the Democratic People's Republic of New York, echo triggers are fantastic. They're a ton of fun to use. However, they take practice. They're not as reliable as a regular full auto. You're going to have, varying rates of fire. Not to mention, I would say that it's not as safe, just because when you pull that first shot, right, you have to manually put that safety selector back to semi if you don't want to fire that second shot when you let that.
You really have to know what you're doing.
You really have to know what you're doing when you use an echo trigger. That's the one caveat that I'll give it. But for a range toy that you simply plan on mag dumping into trash, like I do, echo triggers are a ton of fun.
They can be.
They can be. Now, comparing the cost of an echo trigger, because a new one from Fostech will set you back like $400 to $500. Comparing that to a 20,000 piece of metal to drop into your AR, that basically does the same thing if you're good with it. I would say that it's worth the investment if you really want to get that full auto feeling without that full auto
Dropping.
feeling in your wallet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody said the MPX is legal in New York. 100%. I own one. It's on my pistol permit. You have to register it on your pistol permit.
The only caveat is it's not legal in this configuration.
50
where
ounces.
The magazine is removable. You will have to fix it into the magazine well and then top load it like
Any other AR in New York. It's the 50 ounce weight limit that they have on pistols.
It's the same reason you can't own an original Desert Eagle in New York, which is absolute malarkey. I want a 50 AE Desert Eagle so bad, preferably case hardened or Tiger Stripe. I'll take either
money
or.
dipped. I'll take a money dipped one.
No, money dip's it's a bit much for me. I'll tell you what though, anyone watching that wants to buy me a nice Christmas gift, I wear a size silver Tiger Stripe Desert Eagle in 50 AE. Love you guys.
There was another one I'm drawing a blank on. Give me 1 second, let me look.
Sure thing.
It's hard money, man. Oh, yeah. So, twist rate and grain matter on a full auto. So, twist rate's not really going to matter on full auto because where you would require twist rate and you're getting into all like the physics of twist rate, you're not shooting a full auto. You're not full auto's not really used like it is in video games. Full auto is more used for
Really, though.
suppressive fire. Like, why would
Full
I
auto
want to
is-
waste?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Full auto is meant for either keeping the opposition's head down or for filling the opposition with holes at me to Tyler away.
Yeah, like not very far away.
Exactly.
Where twist rate will come into play, you're really not playing with full auto.
Exactly.
Grain weight obviously is still going to matter because you want to make sure you have the best grain weight for barrel length and all of that stuff for penetration.
Well, grain weight and twist rate go hand in hand when you're dealing with that kind of thing. If you have a really heavy round, you want to have the appropriate twist rate for
Yeah.
that to stabilize it. That's why like a 50 grain 9mm is going to be all over the paper when it comes to accuracy, as opposed to like a 115, like between 115 and 147.
Yeah. Again, matters a little less when you're using full auto.
It matters a ton less when using full auto.
because you're so close.
Will it feed? Yes. Use it in the full auto.
I think that's it for full auto. I want to talk about one of the I posted on Facebook, like I said earlier, one of the pre-post questions.
You want to go back to main cam?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Thank you for telling me how to do my job, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Really cool.
I've watched one or two of these.
Thank you. Sweet. So now we're on main cam. This is the most Christopher Woods has ever heard you talk. You
Really?
clearly have never been here on the weekend.
Really, though?
This kid just talks.
All the time.
I like this question a lot. This is actually a great question for the two of us. Daniel Seafelt. Sorry, we just worked together not long ago. Are you guys gamers? And if so, what is like the most realistic and least realistic? I want to start this one.
Okay.
One of my favorite games as far as realism goes is Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Siege. The guns on that game, like, they look great. They literally down to like the lettering. Like you look, it says like U.S. government, the pins. They did really, really, really well with how the guns look in the game and also function. Like they, like when you watch them shoot, like they did really well with like the animation of the guns. Not to mention like all of the operation in the game is it's more realistic than
I'll say
most.
this, like the visual representation of the guns in Siege is like, it's fantastic. I will say
Yeah.
that. The only thing that kind of irks me is some of like the weird attachments, like Blackbeard's shield on his scar. There's no.
Yeah, that would be
there-
so heavy.
That would be. You're talking this thick of glass hanging out on the front of your rifle.
Yeah, so he uses this, and he has a giant shield that goes over, and
No, it's like out.
he
this
hides
far.
behind it, and it's.
And it only
You
stops
couldn't
about
even
4
hold it
rounds.
up, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, granted, Blackbeard is jacked, so there is that.
I would love to have that system, though. That would be so awesome.
That would
Just
be fun.
Pop your head up.
Just a giant glass shield. However, the glare on that would be.
Everybody knows where you are.
You would be like a sunbeam, just lighting yourself up, and then anyone with anything above a pistol caliber will
For
likely
sure.
punch right through your shield, and then that's that.
One of the guns I love to hate. Sorry. Far Cry. The Far Cry series. The gun animation, everything sucks. But just like with Red Dead Redemption, I love how you have to take care of your firearms. If
That
you
is
don't
true.
properly take care of it, they jam. That doesn't happen in too many video games. So that's actually really cool. You can never have that in like online Call of Duty because
Yeah, that would be the
just ruin
worst.
the experience.
Imagine just you're about to gun someone down and suddenly your gun jammed because you didn't take care of it.
Yeah. What do you?
How are you supposed to take care of a gun?
like?
And, I was going to mention with Siege, one of the other strange discrepancies is they just added Sam Fisher to the game, and
Splinter
his
Cell.
service rifle that he uses in the game is a tactical tuna or an FNFS 2000, chambered in 300 blackout, which does not exist in real
It
life.
doesn't exist.
However, that is such a cool idea. FN, get on it.
Snap a suppressor on it.
Well, yeah.
We talk
I mean,
about 300 blackout every now and then on this, and
300 blackout is.
you just hear I can hear Pat screaming from the baseball game right now. Just what?
Does he love or hate it?
He cannot stand 300 blackout.
I love 300 blackout. I've shot a bolt action suppressed 300 blackout.
That was
One
like
of
your first day working
One of the
here.
first days
I
I
remember
worked on
that.
this job. We went out back, smacked some steel. It literally sounded like you were pressing the nozzle on an air compressor. It was.
That's what we do here. My first day on the job, when we first opened, I got to shoot a Desert Eagle. That was really awesome. That's how we get you. We bring you into something really, really cool. We get you shooting suppressed 300 blackout. All right, now clean the rentals or sort the brass.
Clean the toilets. Answer the do you have 9mm question.
Oh, that's today. I'm doing that.
I know. That's all of us
No,
though. That's
we don't have 9mm.
we don't have 9mm. We have some other stuff.
Yes,
but
we're gonna get to what we do have. I have announcements coming up in a little bit,
we do have.
but we have to finish
something.
this question first.
We have 270 for anyone looking for it.
We have a couple cool things. I'll get to it, guys. Stop distracting me from my question,
Sure
Brian.
thing. I was going to say that the one game that I will say really knocked it out of the park very recently is the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Even though
Yes.
Call of Duty in the past has had some absolute trash gun handling and gun models, the most recent Modern
They
Warfare,
did. I wanted to mention that they did
they
really well.
brought
with it.
in Lucas Botkin to handle a lot of the reload animations.
T-Rex
and be-
arms, if you don't know.
And because Lucas Botkin of T-Rex Arms is basically a robot, they really nailed the quick, snappy reload animations.
I love it, man.
It feels like you're watching like Garand Thumb reloading in front of your eyes, or like Mil-Spec Mojo.
The other really cool thing about the new Call of Duty is the guns are actually not that inaccurate. I mean,
Yeah.
they have some like far-fetched like variations of it. I haven't played in a while, but
The gunsmith variants are kind
They
of
have to be.
hard to look at.
they have to keep people buying their currency. But yeah, some of the firearms they have in there, they did a really great job with. I was also impressed. What's one of the worst for you?
I would say one of the most laughable gun representations would be like the OG Counter-Strike games.
Okay.
Where, funny enough, more often than not, the players, it was set up so that your view model would be left-handed. And as such, all of the, I would say all of the ejection ports were shooting across the player's field of view. However, since most people are right-handed, they would switch it over. And the most, how you would always see Counter-Strike is with a mirrored AR-15 or AK-47 where the ejection port is on the left side, shooting brass right in your face, which is, not the most tactically advantageous, I will say that much. As well as the very humorous M4 reload in the game where you would drop the mag, insert a new mag, and then pull on the forward assist as if it were a charging handle and let that go forward. For those of you who don't know, a forward assist on an AR platform is this little pull on this to charge the rifle.
We have.
What's the news?
So the only people you already know.
Get on that Discord, folks.
On 855, we have like 193. Like we have for $13.99 two bag limit, but guys, we have 556. That's huge. I will be putting a post on Facebook.
That's about a 3-hour window because we open it now.
So if you know anybody that is just thirsting for there are a few boxes. Saw it in the live stream. I'll let you buy.
I would hope that they find
They
out.
would know. They're gonna know.
About George Zion, they wouldn't find out.
They're great people.
Another counterpart, or not counterpart, but
That's
or not runner-up. The MP5 was the runner-up blowback, as in as soon as the searching this to make sure that the gun doesn't add to that is it's insanely dirty. It's actually very tab right here. We're gonna pull back on that, and then we have the magazine. It has to take cartridges that are stacked to the gun, and as such, they have as the rounds are being pushed back up in. However, I've had giant stash in the back is also old. Just let us know. And pull back on the charging handle. There is no round. The gun is safe. About Counter-Strike, we'll insert and press back on the charging handle. Not only insanely awkward, doing that with your thumb, I don't care.
grabbing my pencil.
The action, half the gun comes off. A P90 receipt theoretically could be shipped to your house, because these things are expensive. Barrel and our, so the 1/2 of, and our bolt. Again, I'll get a clean piece of towel, charcoal. It's amazing how filthy this thing gets. This is really as far as you have to take this up, just to make sure it runs nice. Now that we have that out, we can also just slide up on our butt plate here, and pull out it's what's called a bullpup. Everything and the trigger. So as such, they have to figure out how to turn this with your finger. There are little bars, and they reach in and hammer to drop. Super neat. Press back on it. You have to be very careful that you don't. Bad times had by all. Some other interesting. The FNP90 was actually back in the 90s. That's why this gun is called the 57 by 57 is gone at the moment. 57 by 28 is a very small, basically a tiny 5.56 little size package. Very effective at, believe it or not, the Sequan, their version, the barrel is cut off right here, and there's a little compensator. And obviously their version is also full auto. They have ready to go in a barrel this long, round. It's a ton of fun to shoot. I honestly have a lot of beginner first-time shooters will come in and to it. The only thing that takes some getting used to with this is the ergonomics. The ergonomics on this gun are very strange. Hold on to with your support. If you've never held one before, it all around just very strange, very interesting. You want to take the whole family out. 3 states where infants and toddlers might not be as good. Okay.
That's a
28. That's a really niche round. Hell. Next time you hear that the pin has 5, I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Does a muzzle device
Barrel this long, actually, meet the 16-inch muzzle. You know, it's the complete package. It's 200-300 yards, I would say. Anything you want? Sure.
kind of off topic from everything else we're talking about. How you get your pistol permit. Really just go to your county, get a pistol permit. They'll tell you exactly what to do to get the packet to fill out. Fingerprints, if your county requires a class, if you really like wanted it. Worries about waiting, get their pistol permit.
Monroe County,
In New York State, we kind of have this, none of the laws are cool based on the pistol permit, but we had this law that said they only have 6 months to process your pistol permit application legally. So if it's taken months, they pretty much did not. Great kid, I have business. And literally, the judge was like, yeah, he shouldn't have been denied in any way, shape, or form. And they totally just reversed it. So he was out thousands of dollars, and
I think like 2. So
regardless,
is it for
nothing.
For nothing.
That doesn't happen too frequently. Yes, no, on these pistol permit applications.
Depending on like if it's a Friday night, they're just like.
I'm trying to think of any other in our range.
HMR to 300 Win Mag, and you cannot shoot, for example, armor penetrating. That you hear someone's just like caliber or higher than that caliber, it just means that for some calibers, or not necessarily calibers, but for some bullets and loadings, they could be problematic in a range. For example, in range, there's already enough fire range where there's a bunch of loose gunpowder. Potential hazard come down because I don't have any other jobs lined up. Burger King. That'd be sad.
Gross.
Yeah,
How
I
can you
know.
go from Burger King to this? Some cool things we have in stock. Okay. Has all of these.
Those are cool.
Mossberg and Glock 43.
Their first gun in like 100 years.
Pistol ETS.
Yep.
And I was like, gross. This looks gross.
Especially for the money.
Yeah, great. When I actually got my hands on it and shot the other one, but it offers a crossbow safety, which I've never really seen on a handgun before.
I've seen it on plenty of shotguns though,
Yeah.
which Mossberg is very familiar
They're
with.
very familiar with shotguns. Another's it's essentially just a copy. This one's in like a burnt bronze, so this is pretty cool. Great little 22. I wouldn't say they're for home defense. Be very honest with you if you use it down the line. But realistically, I think this is what, a 6-shot?
I mean, you could think of it this way. Imagine in medieval times, for instance, stabbing someone with...
Sure.
It's gonna take...
And finally, another thing I'd like to talk about is the Performance Center, Smith & Wesson Performance Center. It has the golds. The thing I really like about it, I don't have that camera turned on.
They're very easy to pick up on presentation, I will say.
Backstrap safety. And you just want a 3/8. I know you carry one.
You see me in a tank top.
I don't usually like carrying these anyways because of the backstrap safety. I get scared something's gonna get like clogged. You carry every day, so you know just how much lint and stuff like just accumulates in all the crevices of your gun.
I don't want to admit to generating a lot of lint, but yeah.
You generate lint. Urge, keep that in mind. Again, stock is just ridiculous. Be really aggressive. Hey, we need this. What? That's an announcement.
Predicament. I would highly advise like. If you have like an air compressor or some canned air, just blow that lint out. Make sure that your handgun is in working important, that you, like us and your pistols, get all kinds of lint in the cracks and crevices. Make sure you're maintaining your too much lint. Story of my life.
Airheaded and full of lint. Can you do another rifle?
Sure. Which one would you? I'll let you pick the next one. This is the one that everyone loves to pick out on our rental wall as soon as they see it. Oh man, is that the scar from Fortnite?
Yeah. Oh, Fortnite.
Oh, it's the Fortnite scar. I will say, if you're learning about guns from Fortnite, it's better than not learning about guns from the name. Yes, it is a scar. Similarities end. Same guys that make the P. However, with these guys, you run into the same issues that you get with buying civilian legal machine guns, which is, there are very few of them. The only difference being FN does still make these. They just make like 1,000 a year. So MSRP on the 17S, which is the $4,500. That makes me giggle. Field strip it and kind of show you how it works. The SCAR is one of those faces. The rest of it, you can just kind of SCAR. Every feature. The safety is ambidextrous. You can use it from either your left or rental gun to be on the right instead of from here. On the SCAR, whenever, and a lot of people will come wear a magwell grip, and on like Nerf back here, kind of makes sense. But pull the trigger and fire, that charging over here, so that way when half of the bolt handle, now it's a lot of cool stuff. Whatever position you like, tight to the body. Wide optic, and you need a good cheek so you can press your face nice. I love it. We also have a button right here for vehicle cruise, nice and compact system, even with lock. So as soon as you're able to, for ARs, like the law folder, ARs. However, with the SCAR, there's nothing back there. The action can reciprocate without folded stock configuration. However, you're not gonna. So now that we've gone, we're gonna start by locking the gun open. The chamber, there's nothing there. There's nothing. Distinct bolt close sound, kind of like the AR. So we're going to this little pin right here, just like that, and pull. Super simple. Replacing your stock is literally just slide. You can shoot if it's folded. Back. All of our mainspring. You can put that there, and with that, this giant bolt, your field strip SCAR, sees a lot more action than the P90 in the action. And the reason that is, the SCAR operates under what is called incredibly cool tab right here. It gets a little, oh, she's deaf because she doesn't want to cooperate. She's moves will lock into the, and the gas is tapped off the width of that pin at the end there. And that strikes on the end of this bolt carrier group. You can actually sends the bolt traveling backward because they can pretty much determine when they want this to open at the optimal time for the most reliability, the most cleanliness, the optimal incredibly reliable. The one, a lot of machine gun or something like that, when it, like a standard military loaded out, maneuverable. In fact, a lot of designated marksmen, and as such, kicked around a lot and made follow this and that kick so far. We had an EOTech shoot. It was remarkably accurate. Something that SCARs do. We've something made by Trigicon, a reliable red dot op, a fixed magnification, cheaper for FN to manufacture. Down this receiver, extruded chunk of aluminum here to mount the barrel trunnion, moving parts, or like how they made it from a manufacturing perspective. Actually all polymer, and that's a non-serialized receiver, which is kind of a SCAR 17. You can load it up, then you can fit it, and you're good to go. Theoretically, have a hours, and that we say that as a joke. Also have to pay for all the triggers and all that. SCAR, it's used by a lot of guys that spend a lot more time shooting guns than I do. This is actually what shot Osama bin Laden in the FN SCAR 17 SCAR.
Nothing. We really don't have time for. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot. We don't have a whole lot more time. We're experiencing this lagging issue as we do like every week for the past couple weeks. Your stuff is closed. Surveillance equipment that runs off sure every computer except for mine. And Spectrum's like, all right, I'm definitely gonna call them again. Sucks.
Non-urban West. Realize what I would do for some FiOS at my house.
You might save us.
I have upload is. I have.
That's what you're.
A 10-minute walk from Batavia's.
Fix
Spectrum,
it.
come on.
I'm pleading with you. fix it.
Videos faster, please.
The hard thing is there's no real way to test for this other than going live. Like I can't do a 45-minute live stream test to see if it's gonna start, capturing. The system I have running is not that easy to do that with. And that's what it doesn't like. And I'm gonna keep
services.
but I really have to call Spectrum and see. Brian.
Got a very nice on my butt, threw my back out. So finally got that sorted out. So I'm a little bit more tactically sound, I would say. Not tactically sound, tactically capable.
It's all about.
For fear of you criticizing me again, but
even though this is like a beautiful, I can sell a banana tape to like art by Brian.
Art by Brian. Call this
every time. It's hard to remember all. You've been in chat all day. Surefire, because I really like giving away these. You're actually going to get the Surefire frequently. Next week, welcome to come on, and what a great stream for you to do. Talking. Links for Discord. Sorry, I'm trying to do 2 roles. Links for Discord, I will absolutely send as a comment in here, slightly after the video is added. The problem with the Discord links is you have like a single day to do that. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna switch to my camera on the production side, just so I can, it's cute.
Starting bed.
To get them on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving
on, I miss our friends. Host. That is a cool. What a cool company.
That is very cool. It's very nice. I would say
it's original. It's not.
It's very nice.
It's not a box logo. Box logos are great for catching attention, but the new triangle logo is, I don't know. It's something else. Triangles are the strongest. Yeah, strongest shape. Strongest shape, man. All right.